you've got a long, overwhelming to-do list that's always behind, in the red, being added to it every single day, and it never ever gets any shorter, this is not how you're going to achieve your goals in 2024. And today, in episode 255, I'm talking about scrapping your to-do list. Hello and welcome to episode 255 of My TV. My name is Emma Mills and I help business owners go from solopreneur through that really messy middle stage of trying to get some support, leverage tasks, get an assistant, get a thriving, ambitious team around them. And today's episode is about some key things I want you to implement to help you get your 2024 goals rolling. Because we all write what we want to happen in January, and it's really, really easy to just fall back into the same rhythms, habits, everything that we did in the previous years, and nothing actually changes. And today's is about having an overwhelming to-do list that looks something like this, and it never ever goes down in length. It just gets more and more overdue. It feels unaccomplished when you tick stuff off. You don't think, oh yeah, I made a big dent. All you see is still an overwhelming to-do list. And today's is about how I want you to scrap that and just really, really laser focusing on the good stuff to get stuff done. And this is how. And I'm going to use the god that is Warren Buffett as some inspiration. And I've told this story on my TV probably about 2 or 3 years ago now, so it's due another outing. And it is just the best story. So Warren Buffett has had a pilot, whether he still is pilot, not sure about that, but a private plane pilot. The guy's called Mike Flint, and he had flown 4 previous US presidents, and he became Warren Buffett's personal pilot on his jet. And the story goes by a guy that was traveling with them one day, a guy called Scott. The story goes that Warren Buffett apparently said to Mike Flint, look, you've been my pilot now for quite a few years. You're still my pilot, so I'm clearly not doing my job of enabling you to go out and accomplish all the other things that you want to do as well, alongside being my pilot. And Mike Flint says to him, yeah, he says that there are other things I want to do, but I never get them done, or I never get them ticked off. And Warren Buffett has him go through this exercise. So he says to him, okay, well, I want you to write down the 25 things that you want to get done. And this applies as well, just as a caveat, into the more mundane, the daily stuff. So you might on Monday go in and have 25 things you could make a list of 25 things that you could get done that day. So back to my story. So Mike Flint grabs a piece of paper, sits with Warren Buffett, and he says, okay, well, I'm just gonna write down the 25 things that I would love to do. And I guess this guy's now kind of later 50s, it's a time in his life when he wants to think about, well, if I'm gonna do them, when am I gonna do them? So he makes his list of 25 things. And Warren Buffett says to him, okay, he says, I want you to look at the list and circle the top 5 things which are most important to you. And Mike goes, okay, well, that's a bit difficult, but I'll give it a go. He's they're all important to me, which we all say about everything that's on our to-do list. And he's, they're all important to me, but I'm going to, okay, so he circles the top 5. And Warren Buffett goes, okay, I want you to just write those 5 in a new list. And he writes them out. And he goes, right, he says that 5 now is your priority list. And everything else in the other 20 is your to not do list. And everything in that other 20, if you spend time trying to progress it, doing it, looking at it, thinking about it, it is taking away from the top 5. So it's your to not list anymore, because if you even spend any time on it, it's taken away from the things you've just said are the top 5 priority. And Mike Flint looked at me and he went, okay, but they're all important. He went, they might all be important. He went, but if you spend a bit of time on all of these 25, I can pretty much guarantee maybe one's happening at some point a long time in the future, but none of them are really advancing. But if you section out these 5 and we go all in on the 5, and that's all we spend our time at, the likelihood is that in the next year or two, these 5 things are getting done. And Warren Buffett said that's how he's applied how he spends his time every day for most of his life. There are, at the level that Warren Buffett's at, his power, his influence, his wealth, his size of his businesses, there are most probably an infinite number of things every single day that Warren Buffett could do. And the way he gets around that to go, well, I could do loads and loads of things that don't actually advance me. So what he does is he always has a top 5 or a top 3 of the things that only these are getting my attention. And my wish for for you this year and in January and going forward is that you don't go into each day with an overwhelming, quite frankly, unappealing list to look at that feels like, oh, there's just so much to do all the time. Well, there is so much to do all of the time, but not all things are created equal in their impact on your life, on your family's life, on your business, on earning more money, on having more time. Not all of these things are equal. So every single time you go to create a list, or maybe you have an ongoing list, I just want you to look at, I would do the top 3 things. And it actually ties in really nicely with our productivity pad. Now, I'm going to pop the link wherever you see this video to, if you pop your details in, we'll send you a lovely one in the post with some other goodies with it. And not only does it have on the front how to work out your hourly rates, because this is like a big precursor to making the right decisions on what things you do yourself. And actually, when you know your hourly rate, how you spend your time becomes really, really, really really discerning how you do that, because you could easily not earn your hourly rate if you're just checking your inbox, for example. But I digress. So on our daily productivity planner, what we have exactly is the top 3 tasks every day that I need to get done. Because let's say from 7 till 7, there were 12 hours, and I know I'm not suggesting you work that. I know lots of you are constantly just on all of the time. There is a lot of time to get things done, but what most of us do is go around in reaction mode, like in our inbox, replying to things, looking at our phone, responding to messages. Can I speak to you now? Okay, I'll just a lot of our clients' lives are dictated by other people, rather than taking back the responsibility and protecting your time to go, whatever happens today, I am doing these top 3 things because they move me closer to my goals. So like a really good example for me all the time is, if I know that I've got my filming day booked in for my TV, I know that definitely more than the day before, one of those days, one of my top goals is I need to think, create, and map out the content for my filming day. Like, that's a top priority. And it can be so easy for me to delve into questions, team problems, things that I've seen that I need to fix, inboxes, answering my phone, scrolling through social media, responding to comments on it's so easy for days to pass by doing that. But if I have my top 3 things and I'm super laser focused on getting those 3 things done, not only do you move forward the big projects or the things that are most important to you, the other thing that comes from it, which is for me the big habit changer, is the feeling of accomplishment. Because if I write something to cover every single line in here, so if I write 12, 15 things, just like the pilot did, he wrote out 25 things in the day to get done, the likelihood that I'm accomplishing them all is very, very small. So I have a half-finished to-do list. I've got stuff to move across to tomorrow. I've still got other things to do tomorrow. I don't actually feel like I got everything done. But if I just know that I planned out my content today, I created content for my social media next week, I created a new email to send out to clients that come on board with us, I re-looked at our pricing structure. If I did these big things that have an impact, if I just do the 3, even if I finish these 3 by lunchtime, or if I finish them at 8 o'clock at night, I'm I've done the 3. I know that today I've done the most important congruent things in my life, rather than having a long to-do list which doesn't really change in length, so it never feels like you're making progress forward, and it really saps you of momentum and drive and that feeling of wanting to get things done, because the list never changes, and it never will, unless you go, well, there's loads of things I could do, but out of these 20, 30, 50 things, I'm just going to do these 3. And if I finish them in an hour, brilliant, and I've got more time to do other things, but if I just pick out the 3. And so my piece of advice for you this year is definitely, if you don't have anything like a journal, a planner, an online planner, pop your details in. We'll send you a couple of productivity pads to get rolling with, and you can pop your top 3 things in and get that momentum of every single day. You can emerge in, and for me, I always recommend doing these things first thing. Put your phone on do not disturb, give yourself an hour, 90 minutes, 2 hours to do these top 3 things. You can emerge into the rest of the day with the satisfaction that whatever else comes my way, I've spent time moving forward the most important things. And when most people's goals fail, that you'll have super excitement about now, is that you don't have the clarity every day of the stuff that needs to happen to move it forwards. So you might just keep looking at it and go, oh yeah, no, I did want to reach that revenue goal, or I did want to get that number of customers, or I did want to start that new service or launch that new course. But if we don't have the granular of the daily things to move it forwards, it's not happening. So please take Warren's advice, write out everything you could and need to get done. Grab one of the productivity pads, circle the top 3 things, and tomorrow, the next work day, just get those 3 things done. And then at the end of the day, before the day finishes, pick out the top 3 things you're going to get done tomorrow, and just keep working on the 3 every day. Just keep moving them forwards, because that really starts to get the traction going in all the things you want to achieve this year. So I hope this helps. Like, I really hope it hits home that you can't do everything. You can't do it, like, just because you've got this big list, you can't do everything, but you can make an impact on the most important game changes in your life or in your business. And that's what I want you to focus on this year. I hope today's episode has been helpful. Got you out of the dirt and into the clouds, because into the clouds is where all the good stuff and the top 3 priorities are. And I'll see you next week. Bye bye.